Welcome to Thessaloniki. Now allow me to speak in Greek. Σας ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ που είσαστε εδώ. Παρασκευή, ξέρω ότι είναι δύσκολη ημέρα. Χαιρόμαστε πολύ. Είμαστε εδώ για να μπορέσουμε λίγο να φέρουμε και άτομα εκτός Ελλάδος για να δούμε λίγο πώς μπορούμε να κάνουμε την περιοχή μας εδώ investable, έτσι. Να γνωρίζετε ότι η εταιρεία Input-Output ήρθε πριν το καλοκαίρι, έκανε ένα tour, προσπαθούν να δούνε πού θα είναι το επόμενό τους hub και ευελπιστούμε με αυτούς όλους που είδανε στο ecosystem, για το οικοσύστημα που έχουμε, λέγονται ερευνητικά κέντρα, εταιρείες και ούτω καθεξής, να επιλέξουν τελικά να έρθουν εδώ, διότι αυτό που έχουμε εδώ πολύ δυνατά είναι το ταλέντο. Άρα σε ευχαριστούμε πολύ. Το πρόγραμμα είναι, θα κάνουν μια μικρή παρουσίαση οι ίδιοι τους. Στη συνέχεια θα έχουμε ένα fire chat 10 λεπτά εγώ με τον Charles. Και μετά από εκεί θα έχουμε ένα panel discussion, το οποίο έχουμε εξαιρετικούς ομιλητές, ο οποίος θα το κάνει moderate ο Σίμος ο Βελούδης. Σας ευχαριστώ. Charles was all Greek to you. Welcome to Greece. And now you can take over.
So, all right. So it's an evolving thing, but it's been a lot of fun to actually go and explore. So we've been on a tour for a little bit, and actually we started in Athens, and now we're here in Thessaloniki. And today, the purpose of today is to discuss a little bit about what our goals are and where we want to go, but very briefly about input-output. So many of you know us from our products, either from something I've historically done like Ethereum, or what IO has done, Cardano, or upcoming products like Midnight, for example. And if you sum up the value of all these ecosystems together, it's about $500 billion, which is $500 billion. It's not bad. So we're quite successful at constructing things, and we've obviously enjoyed the fruits of those labors. But what we wanted to do is transform our company to, instead of building protocols, to build companies. So we've turned Input-Output Group into a venture studio. And what that means is that we build companies for a living. So every year, our goal is to create about 3 to 5 ventures selected from our ecosystem, because we have thousands of ecosystem partners now. They come to us and they say, hey, or we come up with a great idea and we say, hey, we want to disrupt agentic commerce, or we want to build a new way of doing social networks, or we want to do some high-tech frontier technology. And we go from hundreds of potential ideas to about 3 to 5 companies that we really want to invest in, build up, hire the CEOs, grow the teams, and spin them out. Now, the challenge with this is that this is a very fragmented process. You're hiring 5 CEOs a year, 5 executive suites a year. You're hiring 5 sets of management per year, 5 sets of employees per year. You can see how if you don't have a methodology behind this, it's very fragmented, it doesn't scale, and it becomes very difficult to do that. So one of the things we decided to do, in addition to a corporate restructure to facilitate that cadence, is also a geographic restructure. So currently we operate in about 50 countries, and what we want to do is move to a hub and spoke model, where we have a central campus, and that campus is where we spend 6 to 12 months building, developing, and training entrepreneurs, and then getting them ready and prepared to actually pursue a good business idea. And then once they grow up that idea enough, to then spin it out into one of our spokes. So we're starting to open the spokes right now. We have one in Argentina. We're going to set up one in Austin, Texas. We just started setting up the one in Abu Dhabi. We're setting up one in Tokyo. So we're all around the world. And the spokes are typed towards the industry vertical. So if you're in Argentina, Argentina is for things like microfinance and developing world financing and payments and Latin American businesses. If you're in Austin, Texas, much more like Silicon Valley in San Francisco. In Abu Dhabi, that would be more like a bank or traditional finance or the things that they do well. If you're in Tokyo, perhaps hardware. So there's kind of a nice market demographic there. But before they earn the right to go and build something there, they have to graduate from somewhere. So we're actually looking at Greece as the place to build the campus. Why? Because no one has to be from here. They come here, and no one ever complains about going to Greece. You say, hey, would you like to go spend a year in Burundi? They say, I don't know about that. Or say, well, how about a year in Saudi Arabia? And they say, I don't know. You say, how about a year in Greece? You know, bring the family, bring the kids. And they say, yeah, actually, that sounds like a lot of fun. Okay, yeah. So the hospitality and natural beauty, as well as the warm and welcomingness of people, has been extraordinary. So what we're going to do today is we're going to have kind of three presentations. First up, Tamara Hassan, the president of Input Output, is the person who came up with this dream of Greece and the campus. She's going to come up and explain the art of the possible, of what we're kind of looking at for a campus. Then after that, we're going to have a fireside chat, and then after the fireside chat, we'll have a panel with various people who are in the startup ecosystem, whom you probably already know. This is actually our second campus, because we always do things that way. The first one I built is near and dear to my family. My father's a doctor, my brother's a doctor, my uncle's a doctor, my grandfather's a doctor. We've been in medicine for 70 years. So I was told, I said, if you ever make it big in business, you have to do something in the family business. I said, all right, fair enough. So I wanted to reform American healthcare, and I wanted to reform the way we do biotechnology in America. So I set up a campus in Gillette, Wyoming. It's a small town. It's in the northeast part of Wyoming. It's only 35,000 people, so no one's ever heard of it. No one's ever been there. It's a coal town, not very healthy. Everybody smokes. And so I built a medical campus there. So we're about 3 years into a 10-year plan. We've already committed $200 million in capital. The current campus is about 8,000 square meters, and it's growing. The hope is to get it to about 25,000. And we already have 17,000 patients, so half of the town are our patients. We have 40 providers, and we have all the ologies, cardiology, and nephrology, neurology, and internal medicine, and all these things. And we're now moving into biotechnology. So we're doing stem cell research with mesenchymal, adipose-derived stem cells, and exosomes, and combining that with hyperbarics for anti-aging and regenerative medicine. And we will also, over the next 10 years, be building a medical school there. So we'll have a biotechnology incubator accelerator. We'll have the medical campus, including a hospital and medical school. Now, Gillette's not prepared for this. So as I build, I have to build the infrastructure. I need to build housing for 1,000 people. The restaurants are terrible, so I need to make restaurants for people. You know, it's been fun. We get to send some chefs down to Argentina, and they get to learn how to cook like Fogon does, but that's okay. So we have great vision in these things. And when we make a commitment, we don't make a commitment for weeks or months. We make commitments in terms of decades. When Japan invested in me when we started Cardano, I told them that this is going to be a multi-decade initiative. And they believed me. And we were able to turn $72 million in startup capital into a $30 billion ecosystem for them. And we believe this will be a $1 trillion ecosystem one day. And we continue to invest and continue to build and continue to grow. So similarly, when we build campuses in certain places, this is not a small commitment for us. This is something that we want to be intergenerational, meaning that people grow up with it, they remember it, they're part of that community. Then when they graduate, just like when they graduate from a university, they have a loyalty and a friendship to it. They're part of the alumni network of that. So our goal is to build hundreds of companies eventually, and each and every one of them in frontier technologies and exponential technologies, and for those companies to disrupt the world as a whole, and for them to become big multi-billion-dollar companies, but for the leadership to always have great reverence to where they started. And our hope is we can figure out a path to get them to start somewhere here in Greece, hopefully Thessaloniki. And Panos and others, they have been working very hard to convince us to come here.